Hello and happy Friday, and welcome to day 8 of our Merry Minds in May PBL. So, I really love to spend time outside, and I hope that you get a chance to spend a lot of time outside too. Sometimes when we're outside, we come across animals that seem like they need to be rescued or hurt wildlife, and maybe we don't know what to do. So, this book is called Baby Owl's Rescue, and it gives us some ideas about exactly what we should do if we come across an animal that we think needs help. So it's written by Jennifer Keats Curtis and illustrated by Lauren Jacques. What if you found a baby owl in your backyard? Would you know what to do? Where would you go to find help? And it looks like this book even won an award. This is the Da Vinci Eye, the Eric Hoffer Book Award. So let's take some time to enjoy this book together this morning. So you can see on the inside of this front cover, it gives you a little bit more information about the book and what you should do maybe if you find a bird or an owl in your backyard, and where you might get some more information about that. Baby Owl's Rescue. One warm April evening, Maddie grabbed a bat, a ball, and 2 mitts and ventured into the yard to practice catching pop-ups with her little brother Max. As they trotted toward the back fence, Maddie heard a funny noise. Clack, clack, clack. What was it? It sounded like fingernails tapping on a table. Clack, clack, clack. There it was again. Maddie was sure it was coming from beneath the pine tree in the far corner of the yard. She flung down her mitt, put her finger to her lips, and shushed Max. As she crept closer, she saw something gray and fuzzy. Were those feathers? Yes, huge, bright yellow eyes peered up at her from inside a feathery, ruffled little ball. Maddie could see a sharp beak, furry feet, and big, long talons. Clack, 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 continued the baby owl, clapping its pointed bill quickly, warning Maddie to go away. So if you find a baby bird like this, a baby owl, or any other bird of prey, you should probably keep your distance from it because, like they said, very sharp talons, very sharp beaks. Even though the baby owl was cute and cuddly, Maddie and Max knew that it was important not to treat a wild animal as a pet. Fortunately for Maddie and Max, their mother was a wildlife rehabilitator trained to care for injured wild animals. The children knew that a baby bird on the ground might not need human help. Its parents were probably nearby. Wanting to do what was best for the baby owl, they ran to get their mother. As soon as their mother saw the yellow eyes, she knew what type of owl the children had found. She pointed to the feathery horns beginning to grow. It's a great horned owl, she whispered excitedly. She reminded her kids that they had heard a pair of great horned owls calling to each other after the new year. Great horned owls nest earlier than other birds, often laying their eggs as early as January, even with snow on the ground. Throughout the long cold winter, the whole family had heard the hoo, 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 as the birds softly called to each other. Then, once the babies hatched, the parents became silent. How old is he, Mom? Max whispered. I think he's a brancher. He's just leaving the nest. Why is he on the ground? Asked Maddie. What should we do? Max asked worriedly. Their mother smiled and silently pointed up. Near the top of a very tall tree, the kids could just make out the nest of musty sticks. He was either blown out of his nest by those strong winds last night, or he fell as he was hopping from branch to branch. Let's see if he's old enough to climb back into the nest by himself. Be careful not to talk around the baby or touch him. If he has too much contact with humans, it will be hard for him to live in the wild. As Maddie and Max quietly backed out of the bird's sight, their mother pulled on a pair of old, heavy brown gloves and gently placed the baby owl close to the base of the pine tree. She hoped he was old enough to use his beak and large feet to climb up the tree, and then to flap and hop his way back to his nest. As his mother lifted the owl, Max realized how tiny the baby really was. He had puffed up his feathers to look bigger in an attempt to scare them away. Maddie and Max had seen animals that might be enemies of a baby owl: raccoons, foxes, and even the neighbor's dog. The safest place for this baby was back in his nest. For several minutes, the baby owl peered at the tree through the bright yellow eyes. Then he looked back expectantly, as if he was thinking, and now what? He was clearly too small to scale the tree. Their mom would have to give him a hand. Grinning, their mother asked her children to make sure no other animals came near the baby owl as she ran to the house. A moment later, she returned with a laundry basket. She intended to make the baby a new nest. Maddie and Max helped their mother fill the basket with small branches. Maddie and Max had seen their mother make a phone call, but were surprised when two firefighters arrived in shiny red and white cherry picker truck. As they and several neighbors watched, one of the firefighters put on a helmet and climbed into the cherry picker basket. Using her heavy gloves, their mother placed the owl in the basket nest and then handed it up to the firefighter. He rose high in the air until he was several feet under the nest from which the baby had fallen. He carefully placed the basket in the crook of the tree and tied it just below the old nest. To help the owl parents find their baby's new nest, Maddie and Max's mother turned on a CD of owl baby noises. Wheat, 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 went the recording. Wheat, wheat, wheat. It worked. As everyone watched, the mother owl soared overhead. The big bird landed on a branch, ignoring her audience. The mother owl twisted her head and peered into the laundry basket. Powerfully, the mother owl swooped off again in search of a mouse, a gopher, or a lizard to feed her hungry baby. The neighbors filed away one by one. However, Maddie, Max, and their mother and the firefighters wanted to see what would happen next. Just as the streetlights came on, Maddie spied the mother owl again. Thanks to the glow of the lamppost, all could see the mouse tail hanging from her mouth. Max heaved a sigh of relief. The baby would eat. Come on, laughed one of the firefighters. Maddie grabbed her bat. Smiling, Max threw the pitch for his sister. So once again, just like our first story, our second story, Pass It On, a community came together to help another animal. And in this case, they helped the great horned owl, owlet. So here is a little bit more information about great horned owls. It looks like the females are larger than the males. And it says that when flying, their wingspan can be approximately twice their size. So they have very long wings. And they weigh between 2.5 and 4 pounds and can live up to 13 years. And here is a little matching activity over here where you can look at the different parts of their body, like the very large talons. There's also some information about their life cycle, which I know some of our friends did work on owls when they did their life cycle project. And also what to do if you ever find an injured bird. So please remember, if you ever find an injured bird, it's important to do the best thing for that bird. And for each bird, it might be different. So it's always best to check with a wildlife specialist. And you can take time and read more of this book on epics. And if you really enjoyed learning a little bit more about animals, there are a lot of books on epics about animals. So please take some time to find one that interests you. Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend. Bye.